Cool. Thanks, everyone. Please welcome Jack to the stage.
Hello, my name is Zach, and I really like playtesting. Next slide. Sorry, Max. Yeah, sorry, it's like a tool and not like a cool game, but we'll get through it. So yeah, I've spent the last 8 months on this bad boy. It's called Pretty Good Playtesting. It's a tool that helps indies playtest easier. And it came out of my own frustration from playtesting my own games and developing my own games. So next slide. So yeah, like, I don't know, why though, right? Like, you could be making cool games, Zach, why are you making this shit? And like, I don't know, like, next slide. Yeah, I had this issue where just, I was sort of, whenever I'm making games, I was sort of caught up in the development of like actually making it, and I don't really want to be doing marketing or playtesting. And, you know, I just want to be spoon-fed like a nice solution to sort of help me a lot with it. So yeah, next slide. And yeah, I was like, I'm maybe not alone in this. So I ran a survey on my website. About 200 people answered it. About 60% of people have never playtested it, which is crazy, right? It is like this. I'll explain why that might be. Next slide. It gets like a little bit better in teams, but it's still like over 50%. Oh, sorry. Go back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's excluding solo devs. It gets a little bit better, but like it's still pretty bad, right? So yeah, next slide. And this is, even though like developers know that like playtesting is really useful, right? Like a lot of people find testing useful, but they sort of don't seem to, you know, they can't or won't do it. Next slide. So yeah, like I'll take these results with like a grain of salt. This is from my website, Polypizza, which has free 3D models. And most of the games sort of look like this. They're not like amazing works of art with, you know, highly produced, well-trained teams. Although this game is actually really sick. Someone just like made their nightmare. And it has like persona characters as like the dial. It's crazy. It's a really great game. Yeah, next slide. And I was sort of like looking for solutions like on the market for this that exist, and they are like ridiculously priced and like just totally inaccessible for indies. Oh yeah, so sorry, there's two reasons I think like playtesting is inaccessible. One is the price, and next slide, is like education is also the other component of it. And sort of, most like games courses don't teach playtesting, or like only sort of touch on it briefly because there's so much other shit to cover, right? And like proper user testing is sort of like a UI UX discipline, so it's not actually like, it's not super accessible for games, even outside of like courses. And yeah, you know, lots of people just like smash with like Unity tutorials. They're not really taught this stuff. Yeah, next slide. So yeah, I sort of just anecdotally realized that sort of people are sort of commonly making these mistakes, and I sort of wanted to make a product that would fix it. So this is my BuzzFeed listicle of like things people fuck up. And like I had a whole other talk on this, but if you want me to elaborate on any of these, I will keep later. Next slide. So yeah, I wanted to make something that makes everything nicer. So the way I want to do that is it's just a little client that you bundle with your game. It has OBS in it, and it records it automatically. It also pops up like nice instructions and surveys at the front and end of the gameplay. And then it also goes through like informed consent. It has like a nice, you know, template for all your instructions and stuff, just to make, you know, everything as like smooth as possible for like all parties involved, basically. Next slide. So yeah, and then you can also just share it with like one link. There's two ways you can share it. You can share it directly just via like Discord message. But as you can see, that's not really ideal because people are like, what the fuck, you're like trying to send me a virus. So instead, next slide. Ideally, it's sort of like you have it as like a call to action in your marketing, where you're just sort of like, hey, like join my playtest, right? And that's sort of a bit more legit because you have like a social presence and people are like, oh, you know, there's proof that this isn't like a virus, it's some random Discord. Next slide. So anyway, like after you send your link, hopefully people play it, and it looks like this. Next slide. And then you get this at the end of it. You get a nice little recorded thing, which I'll like demo a bit later. But you get a like little summary, and you get like transcription. And next. But that's not all. You get highlights as well. So one of the things talking to devs was really frustrating was just like going through sheer volumes of like gameplay, right? If you have like 30-minute gameplay times 5, that's a lot of fucking hours. But yeah, we run AI on the background of it, and it's like, hey, you should like check out the health system and stuff. So that's really handy. But next slide. Sort of individual playtests are not like a great, like it could be like a total outlier, right? So we also run reports across all the playtests, so it feeds in all the highlights, and then you get like if people are having the same bug. It's like, hey, this is from the Game Week game. I don't know if anyone, if you guys played it, would have got stuck in the seats. Yeah, these guys got stuck in the seats too. And you don't have to watch you don't have to watch 30 minutes of gameplay to find it out. And yeah, that's it. I'll pop into the demo. If you want to go next slide. Yeah. So, this is what it looks like. This was from my Game Week game, if you guys played it. It's pretty bad. Totally on purpose, right? So I could playtest it and get good data. Yeah. So yeah, you're sort of like when you pop, so this is just like, actually no, let's make a game. Yeah, let's make a game.
Do that?
Yes, let's.
Wow.
What's my game name?
Scribble Quest.
Scribble Quest?
Scribble Quest.
Yes.
Okay. What stage of development is Scribble Quest?
Oh, it's post-release.
Scribble Quest is going well. We just want to verify it's got no bugs in it, right?
Minecraft is the same. Finally.
Oh no!
That was too ambitious.
It's under platform. What's the game?
Mascot platformer.
Yes. Woo! It's on the Grunk cards.
Okay. Yeah, and you get like a little, I don't know, it's usually nicer. You get like a little AI emoji, basically. I don't know.
That's the best scribble they can find.
Yeah. No scribble emoji yet, unfortunately.
I like this text. You always got to compliment the.
But once this game really takes off.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, because it's post-launch. Anyway, so once you've done that, you can create a new test, and like based on like your description of the game, it'll sort of like give you suggestions of what you want like a test goal to be, which I think is really important because like I think I removed it. But yeah, one of the things you should do when playtesting is like have a goal for your test, so you can have like actionable things to do after your playtest, right? And it's sort of something I wanted to like make onto the product with like a template on how to do that, like basically. So yeah, how to play is like the fucking level design. Let's find out. And then yeah, so all you need to do to make all this work basically is just drag and a zip here. I won't do that because I don't have Scribble Quest downloaded.
What?
I know.
The real reason is because it's an Unreal 5. True.
Everyone has Scribble.
Yeah.
You have Scribble.
It comes with Xbox.
Disable to purple place.
It's a little known fact of the Dell system.
Anyway, so first step, you like 4 little steps to get your test launched is like the instructions basically. So we fill in this template for you that does informed consent for you. So it has this little tick box here that's like, hey, can we like record your stuff? It also does webcams theoretically, but everyone I've tested so far said no. So I might just remove it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
That's bad feedback. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. True.
Have you playtested the playtesting?
Well, I know someone needs to make software to playtest. Anyway, and then yeah, you go to like your and then after the game's done, you can fill out a survey and you get like I'm in this little fucking survey thing. You get like number ranges, whoa. And then yeah, after you're done, there's sort of like a little checklist of like everything you should do to like make sure the test is good. We don't have to build upload, so it won't work. So I'll just like demo the anxiety simulator. But yeah, another important thing people don't do is like just get someone to like read over your survey and make sure it makes sense. But yeah, I'll smash back to and just go to like game groups. So, yeah, I don't know. We've got the transcription, we've got all our highlights. You can click on any of these to like jump to the bid. Ooh, play. You're saying this sucks if you couldn't hear that. Oh yeah, like I got this is I don't know if anyone got up to this point in the game. It's the point where like the audio just like goes all distortiony because it's like when you're on the train and like the announcer like you never fucking hear it. Anyway, it's really bad. I should have actually thought about this before I gave it to people because like it's really painful and like really loud. Yeah, and you get their survey results here. And you can like see like all the individual survey results. You can also get like all of the survey results here in aggregate. And then yeah, you get like a little report of like everything that's going on. So like yeah, it's really hard to move. And you can like jump to that playtest, like see what's going on. Get thumbnails as well.
Who are these people playing your game?
What's that?
Who were playing?
Oh, just random strangers. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Yay! Oh yeah. I have this. Oh shit. But yeah. I don't know. Lots of future plans. I won't bore you with them all, but like some cool stuff would be just like having potentially like a little SDK you can include in your game and like includes like perf stats and like timestamping as well. You could also like give the timestamp like context, so you could be like this is level 2 and then they could feed that into AI and it'd be like oh shit's going on in level 2. And yeah, I don't know, a million other things. Another like crazy one would be like just like real-time moderation of just like having transcription like done in real time, and then if someone's like, oh, I don't like this, it could be like, hey, you should like elaborate, or like a little pop-up. I don't know. That's probably like, yeah, 3 years old. But yeah, what I'd like to hear from you is just like, yeah, I don't know, any general roasts you can think of. What are the features of bangers, and yeah, if you would actually use something like this, and if you would pay for it, and yeah.
I'm going to do the really unhelpful thing of like recommending a bunch of features that are massive enough.
Yeah, do it. I don't have.
Have you considered multiplayer?
With that SDK, it'd be really great to be able to hook in specific metrics. Because like as a dev anyway, I find myself having to build a lot of metadata stuff to be like, okay, so many players did this thing, or maybe they used this weapon this amount of time or something. So be able to hook that into one centralized system like this, even if it's just like calling a flag to update an attribute, would be really cool. And it's impossibly huge scope, don't do it. But to solve the like, I don't want to download a zip file thing, having the games hosted in the cloud, this was like the one useful time to use cloud gaming, because you could like get into a playtest really quickly on specific levels and parts of the game as well. And also you don't run the risk, because it is a very real thing, especially in gaming exploits, of people sending viruses by like, hey, play my game, let's go. So yeah. Sure. But yeah, super cool, super rad. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say that like when you run me up to like talk about what I would theoretically want in a software like this, I couldn't have imagined that it would turn out so delicious.
You actually fucking did it.
It's not even that. Just like the extent to which it looks absolutely beautiful is awesome. So I'm very excited to get my hands on this at some point in the future. The like fundamental thing, right? On like a very, very basic level, I would go absolutely nuts for just the ability to package together like the game and a method of video recording / streaming and stuff that like and recording keystrokes and then like does that on its own, and I don't need them to really set anything up specifically. So just that alone is like mind-boggling, right?
Yeah, you can just like ignore all the AI shit if you want. Like for real, that's something how it's designed.
And that's also, and the like transcription as well is like beautiful. I wasn't sure if, I'm assuming it would be too hard for you to also be able to like export that sort of stuff to a spreadsheet or a CSV or something along those lines in theory. So
yeah, one feature, I don't know if I'm around to it, but it'd be really sick to have like basically make notes from the highlights and then export them to like Notion. And then maybe like my own API for you to like jump into a spreadsheet. But yeah, potentially.
It's really, really cool. I don't know what to say about like classic stuff other than when you're like real, low to the ground, indie don't have money yet. And when you're really, really early in the stage of a project where it's nice to do playtesting, also most like devs are very apprehensive to do that, foreshadowing. Those are the times where like spending money on anything can sometimes be a hardest, and particularly when it comes to a subscription service, which I have a feeling that's sort of what you're aiming for. So if there's any way to like thread that needle for really, really, really early stage projects for broke bitches like myself to be able to do some playtesting on just like a really, a small, reasonable scale while they're working their way into it, trying before you buy a little bit, would be really, really, really good.
So 3 things. I was going to ask you what the vibe was on pricing, but then you asked us. So I think she makes a good point. I also think, like maybe you do like the first month or something, and then it's a subscription or something like that. I don't really know. I'm not really the person to ask. I was going to ask you.
Oh yeah, sorry. I should have like put it on, but like sort of what I'm thinking is like 3 tiers basically, like a little free tier. Maybe it doesn't even include AI, maybe it's just like recording and like transcription.
Yeah.
Then like a $15 tier for just like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 hours a month. And then like, yeah.
So I assume you're hosting and you're holding this on a server, or is it going?
Yeah. Yeah, like I think AI is most of the cost. Like the video hosting service is like pretty cheap. But yeah, like running like the whole transcription and then potentially in future I'll be like feeding in like thumbnails from the video to the AI to get like context.
Okay.
That's pretty pricey. I'll have to play around with it. But yeah, like $15 tier and like $30 tier basically. So like sort of I have maybe a little bit of money and like I've been like funded. So.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 more.
Thanks.
Do you see this being used primarily for remote stuff then, I guess? Like it's not really a thing you see people using for like in-person playtests?
It seems just as useful to me.
Yeah, like potentially you could use it for both, but I sort of designed it for the idea that like I'm an indie, I want to run like a shitload of playtests. The easiest way to do that is like remote unmoderated, which is what this is for. But yeah, potentially you could use it in person.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay. I was just kind of wondering what your like vision with that was. And then the last thing was basically just like, what is the extent of the AI stuff? And like, how exactly does some of that work? Is it all just like verbal, like text passing?
Yeah, so at the moment it's just the transcription. And it works surprisingly well. The only issue is it sort of like lacks context. So like there was one where it's like it will sort of like do offhand comments, like someone was like I tested this on Dead Space TV. It was actually like itch games are like really great because everyone does like a little YouTube video like playthrough. And I was just running it through that. That was really awesome. But yeah, there was one guy that was like, someone's dying behind a door or something. He's like, oh, sorry, I can't do anything for you, buddy. And it's just like totally missed the point of like, because it didn't know what's happening. It's just like, the player is confused. He doesn't know what the guy should be doing, like sort of thing. So like, yeah, I think I'd be really interested to see how well it does with video.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so I thought just a bit further on if people are like not sure whether they want to buy into doing a subscription or whatever. What you could do is have like an ambassador model. So like if you refer your friends or something, then like, I've referred 10 people, now it's half price to them or something. Now you've like caused this to spread to a lot more people. You have a lot more reach.
And no referral programs definitely.
If it's half off for the person who is giving out the invites, that's kind of a pyramid scheme.
It is a pyramid scheme.
I don't really want to do that.
It's not a pyramid scheme in the fact that
when we do it. It's like
it's sort of like they're not making money from
No,
your
right.
application. It's just like they are incentivized to share it with their friends, and it's just like, oh, you're rewarding them for doing that, and also like they're supporting you by getting more people. So I don't know. I feel like it's a win-win thing, and I've seen it done in other aspects of everything. There was a service with setting up a friend's internet with the Nintendo Wii. If you referred 10 other people and set up their connection to the Wii Shop channel, like you would get free points and you would get free games through it. So I'm like, okay, maybe you could use that now, but I don't know. It is kind of fancy, but it's like it's
Crystal describes materials.
they're not expecting to make a bunch of money. They're expecting to get like half price off a subscription service of a tool that they like. So like,
I mean, I guess you can make it like slightly better by like having both parties like get something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, it's like $15 or $30 subscription, like that to me sounds totally reasonable for the value I would get out of it. But also, I'm wondering, like there'd be a certain time frame where I'm like, okay, I'm not using it anymore, I'm going to unsubscribe. How hard would it be to implement something like a pay for your usage kind of model, kind of like when if you're paying for cloud hosting or something, how you pay for the amount of bandwidth that your customers are using, plus maybe plus a percentage of that you get the scoop. Would it be realistic to offer some sort of pricing model like per test you pay?
Here's the rub. People don't like that because they don't. When they see a pricing page and they're like $5 per video, they're like, oh shit, I don't know what that means. Like, how long's a video, right? Like, it's all these unknowns. But if you're just like, it's $15 a month, they're like, I can budget.
You can have like an 8-day problem where suddenly you have to pay $2,000 if you weren't expecting to pay because you used it a lot.
Set like a budget though? Or not?
Yeah, that's the thing. You can totally do that, but like from what I've read, like people just like sort of a predictable thing. But yeah, I'm thinking with like the $30 tier, you'll have like if you go over, you can pay a cheap like ad cost basically or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I like good suggestion.
I like the subscription as well, because like you don't have to pressure of like, oh, I want 1,000 playtests, but if I have to pay $1 per, then I should be able to do 5 playtests, and then we're not testing anymore, which is the point. So
yeah,
that's a nice benefit.
Yeah, I like as well, like the thing that you said about it being based on hours, and in general, just like the idea that you are making a smaller scale thing. You're probably going to need it for a less amount of time and for a few hours, so that it naturally scales to like to be cheaper for people who probably can't afford.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you imagine there would be like the developers would be doing call outs on their social media for playtesters, or would there be a way to get a pool of playtesters that are available that might entice developers that you can say, oh, we've got all these people.
Yeah. So all these other services, and the reason they cost like such a ridiculous amount is because they pay per tester. Like they just get randoms and they also supply testers. I wanted to make it specifically different because I have this problem of like I have people that want to test. I want to test something. Like how do we bridge this gap right without spending $200 a month? So yeah, I wanted to make it specifically that it's not paying for testers. And like so it's more like it's your call to action. You have like a banger viral tweet where you have your Twitter GIF or whatever, and then first comment you're like, hey, you like this game? You should sign up to play this.
Okay, you talk about banger tweets, but like how in the near future where that might not be an option, like what then? Like it's like it's fine if you haven't really thought about it yet, but it's like I can see why it's like, oh, it's part of marketing and like you can just do that, but it's like what's the
for sure. So that's the thing. I guess if Twitter's going like hopefully doing other marketing, right? That might be harder to get links in. Like if it's TikTok, you have to sort of like go to their bio and then like add a entry or something. But yeah, I guess the idea is that like hopefully you're doing marketing. Hopefully you can have it as a call to action. I don't know if that's hard to do in future. So the other avenue I had is that just like, which again is a bit harder, but if you're sort of going to communities of like similar games and being like, you like this game, my game's kind of like this game, you probably like this game. And then that's also sort of marketing, where you're sort of like, hey, here's my Insta, and then the Insta has something, sort of thing. So, yeah.
Time for a roast.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, you mentioned at the start of the talk that playtesting is a specific skill that the job that people have at a studio.
Yep.
What they do often involves finding bugs.
No. So,
sorry, I'm kind of conflating playtesting with QA.
Sure.
So this seems like a playtest. So this is like a playtesting episode. Simply just kind of playtesting, just kind of like player experience, like that kind of stuff. This doesn't necessarily seem quite particularly useful at finding actual bugs because it doesn't. There's no way for users to actually. It seemed like there was some kind of reporting system, but I wasn't sure whether that was just like the AI kind of like summarizing the transcript for me.
Yeah.
So I think the goal here is like I'm getting a whole bunch of people to play test. I'm assuming you have like a quantity of people to test, and then I'm leaning on AI to kind of help me grok that stuff rather than me having to watch like 20 play tests to kind of get a different sense. But then again, you kind of just reference that the AI is going to miss on context, so you're kind of shifting a lot of weight heavy on the AI to kind of help you do that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether this service actually makes sense without that stuff. Obviously, the transcript is very useful. I think that makes, I can understand that making sense, but when it's trying to summarize, which I saw the panel there earlier, like, could this work as a service that just makes it easy to people to kind of just like upload footage of their game? Because I think that's mostly what it is. So it's just like gameplay.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the more
because that could work as like a lower tier as well because they're not relying on the more expensive services that you're paying for to make the service run.
I guess the more cynical answer is that like you can charge more money if you like you have all these services, which is really bad, right? Like I feel terrible for saying that.
That's kind of normal capitalism. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. But like, yeah, I guess the other end of the thing on this is like. Actually, there's a few answers. So, like, yes, originally I intended it for like just player experience, right? But like talking to devs, they conflate QA and playtesting.
Yeah.
So like, you sort of have to do both.
Right. So I'm kind of wondering like whether it's more valuable for indies because I think a lot of what makes it really hard for indies to kind of do is to kind of do like QA, make sure the game doesn't break. Because often with indies, like they don't have like as like strict like programming paradigms or whatever, so they're bound to find like lots of cracks in their games. Like I've worked on a bunch of projects where it's just like put this in a QA and they'll rip it to shreds. Whereas I feel like I think more people kind of would value that more as independence. At least probably I would. And I wonder if there's like probably tools out there that would seem to kind of do more of that stuff, more like auto playing the game,
automation,
like mashing, like like automating stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is like it sort of just does like a little bit of QA because I feel like it sort of has to because indies expect that. You should not be using this shit for QA.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But yeah, and then like the reason the SDK and stuff is sort of in there is I wasn't really planning to add that, and then someone sort of just came along and was like, "Yo, can I like work on this?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, you can!" Like this is just German kid on my Discord just like smash on it. So
you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of fell into the QA side of things.
Do you guys have one or two more?
Two more? Okay, sorry, yes, I'm waiting a while.
So I mostly have like a question about the transcription stuff. So you currently storing both the audio and then it's processed server side?
I guess like the audio is in the video. Okay, that makes sense. And then that's separate. Like that's ripped locally on a separate track on the client, and then that's processed.
Yeah. So I personally like when given like if I were to open up a game and it's like, hey, here's all of this like telemetry stuff that you can opt into. I would personally love to be able to delineate between like recording a transcription and recording my voice. I think that is like a useful delineation to give for like freaks like me who would love to like contribute like a transcription because we understand that it's like important, but who are like have psychosis about voice recording in the same way that like no one is opted into video, even though I think like video is so important in this, right? There's like a weird like privacy aspect of it.
Sorry, wait. So you're saying you want the transcription but not the audio, or the other way around?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Or at least
I-
an option
like,
to do that.
As an
Yeah,
option,
right,
like
right.
from as a playtester, to be able to be like, yeah, of course you can have a transcription. No, you can't have the voice recording.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
unfortunately, that means that you as the
Like, because the video hosting itself is not that much.
Right.
I'm just wondering what that looks like at scale. So yeah, it's a good point.
For the dirt cheap model, would you get people to earn that by testing games? Because then you get more game testing.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh my god.
The thing is, devs are not good testers. You shouldn't test with devs. That's the pro problem.
Do lots of donkey tests as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we.
Well, just like we were
Just to lead on.
Waiting the whole time.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
One feature I'd really like to see is being able to limit playtime for any individual test. Because one thing I worry about with a time-based pricing model is, so I used to do UX testing as a job, and you have the two modes of players: people who play through something and run into a problem and quit immediately, and then people who run into a problem and decide that their new goal in life is solving the problem. And I worry if it's like just hey, people play the thing, and then you have to pay for however much they've ended up giving to you, especially with doing like widespread Twitter callouts or whatever, that on the non-malicious side, like if you don't have a way to sort of delimit like, hey, playtest can only be an hour because this is meant to be a 30-minute game, and if you've gone more than an hour, what are you doing?
Could you set OBS to have a limit? Like when you package it?
I can just say like stop recording. So like
Yeah. That might just be a good way to set
Yeah.
people doing that.
Yeah. And then on the malicious side of things, I worry about like if you're doing an open call out and you have like a game that for whatever reason ends up getting targeted by weirdos, having some way of like, as someone who has dealt with like a little bit of the go away woke games people stuff, having a way that you can kind of lock it down and like do damage control on like, hey, people got my link and they're trying to make sure that they run up a massive bill. Preventing that kind of issue.
That's really good feedback. I'll definitely put something like that in.
You might want to just put like a size limit on the upload, or like have it be an option that you can do, because otherwise someone could just be like, yeah, I actually have a monitor that is a billion by billion and it's recording at 600 billion frames a second. Like, if you can limit that, or just like, I don't know.
Yeah, if anyone wants to like write the client for me, that would be so sick. There is like so many fucking stupid edge cases. Like at the moment, it will only record the rightmost screen. So I don't know if you saw this like a gun icon. It's because it just recorded the wrong fucking screen.
So wait, on the screen it's just
it just didn't fucking work properly. So there's just so many random edge cases.
And we're not questioning this, and we're not delving into this further.
I'll take it. I guess that's my time.
I was like, do I
Did you put your head up?
Because otherwise, it's tomorrow, it's gone. How do
May I pitch a nightmare disturbance scenario to you? Yeah, absolutely. Your product?
Thank you.
It's already risk inherently.